I get to finally hear the new RBH sound speakers that I have been installing over the last couple days. If you've been watching the videos, then you know I've been running some budget speakers from Monoprice. That would be these guys right here. And they have actually worked surprisingly well. I've been actually quite impressed with their performance given their budget price. But the time has come to fully upgrade all 11, actually 12 speakers, because I'm adding a subwoofer from RBH. So I'm going to have a 7.2.4 Dolby Atmos setup. And it will be all RBH with the exception of my RSL 10-inch subwoofer over here in the corner. I am keeping the I have to keep these straight. RSL sub, RBH sub, RBH speakers. I have to keep that all straight. So again, I want to very much emphasize a huge thank you to RBH for supplying me with these speakers for this project, for this build. They have been fantastic to work with. RBH is a great company. And I also want to say the same for RSL for providing this 10-inch sub. RSL, also great to work with. So huge shout out to both of those guys. Let's get into it. So at this point, I have installed the RBH speakers on my sides, surrounds, and heights. All I have left to do is replace the Monoprice mains and center with the RBH mains and center, and then we get to do the calibration. Now, I will be using Dirac Live because that is what I have for my Onkyo TX-RZ50. So I will use Dirac Live. I will also use, in conjunction with Dirac Live, I will use Magic Beans from Joe and Tell. So all of that, putting all those pieces together, this should sound amazing. And I am super excited to hear what it sounds like. So let's get to it. I'm going to start by removing these Monoprice mains. Now, I've mentioned this before, but I always unplug from the power everything that is connected to power anytime I'm removing these speaker cables, because I don't want them touching and shorting anything out or damaging any of my equipment. So everything is not just powered down, but actually without power. So the power supplies have all been disconnected from the wall. This is the new main from RBH. And as I mentioned in my previous video, these mains have the 5 1/4 driver and the tweeter on the top, but then they also have an 8-inch sub, an 8-inch driver on the side. And so what I'm going to do is, I have a decision to make. Do I want the subs, I'm going to call them subs, but they're 8-inch drivers. Do I want the 8-inch drivers pointing inward, or do I want them pointing out? I'm not sure it'll make a huge difference, so I may do some experimentation, swapping them out, switching the place. But for now, I'm going to have the subs pointing in. So the 8-inch drivers will be pointing inward. Actually, now that I say that, I think I want them pointing out. Yeah, let's have them point out. It probably doesn't matter, but we'll just have them point out. So I'm going to move this one over here, and I'm going to remove the Monoprice main from this side. So these are the two RBH mains. Now, the RBH mains, they actually have some outrigger feet. And I am going to install those very quickly. But first, I'm just going to remove the Monoprice center. I'll put this over here. There we go. Oh, that's pretty. That is very, very pretty. Now, some of you have asked about this stand that I have my center channel set on. I'd kind of hope that nobody would notice, but you guys have got sharp eyes. I have repurposed an old Lego set from my youth. This thing is pretty old, but it works perfectly as a center channel stand. It gives the exact height that I want. I just wanted just a few inches to lift it off of this shelf, and it's also just has a nice slope to it, and so it kind of tilts the center channel speaker just ever so slightly. And it's black, barring this yellow portion, which is mostly covered up. But the front of it is black, and so it actually works perfectly as just like kind of a makeshift little stand. So don't judge. You know, sometimes we got to get creative. I'm going to install the outrigger system on these two speakers. Now I've got them turned upside down, obviously, so that I can install these feet. Now it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It just has these two bars that attach 3 screws each to the underside of the speaker, and then they give you 2 options. You have these rubber cone feet. These are good for hard surfaces. And then the other option that they give you are the pointy end feet, and these are actually adjustable, though the others are as well. They're both feet are adjustable, but these pointy feet are good for carpet. So because my room is carpet, I will be doing these. So let's get into it. Okay, that looks good. Let's try out these pointy feet here. They look really good too. Like the build quality on these feet is really nice, really solid. It's metal. All right, well, the first one is done, and it looks really, really good. So I am going to face the subwoofer on the speaker. And when I say subwoofer, I mean, I'm referring to this 8-inch driver here. I'm going to face it out away from the TV and towards the sidewall. So we'll get those set up there. Okay, I'll just get them set back here. These are very solid speakers. They don't use the regular MDF. They use the HDF, high density fiberboard, and you can definitely feel it in the speakers. Now, I am not going to tow in these speakers. And the reason why is because James Larson and Gene Delasala with Audioholics, they did some tests on these speakers, and they found that the frequency response is slightly better, a little bit better, about 20 to 30 degrees off axis. So I am actually going to point these speakers straight forward, because then I'll be sitting probably about 20 degrees off axis. And the frequency response is better at that location. So if you get these speakers, that's something to take into consideration. So, okay, so yeah, I've got the 8-inch sub driver on the side here facing out towards the wall, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Oh, that's a good looking speaker. Oh, that's beautiful. It's so clean and just simple and elegant. I love it. And I like those magnetized speaker grill covers as well. So, all right, everything is in. I just need to connect up the speaker wire to this other final speaker. And then we are good to proceed with calibration. So for calibration, the first thing I'm going to start with is the Magic Beans app. So this is an app that is going to take near field measurements of your speakers and then also measurements at the main listening position. And then from there, set up a target curve that will optimize the sound for your particular room. So I'm going to run this with all calibration turned off on my Onkyo AVR. And I will say I'm a little, not skeptical, but it has the option to turn off Dirac Live, and so you just switch it off, or you can go to the other slots. And so I'm not sure if by turning that off, if it's actually doing what I want it to do, which is disable everything. But there is a way to kind of at least get an idea if it's making some difference. And the way I do it is in the Magic Beans app, there is a real-time analysis where you can play pink noise through a speaker, and then it will show you what sound is happening. And I'm going to show it to you right now. So you can see this is the real-time analysis of what is happening in my microphone that I've got set up right here. So that's what it looks like when it's totally quiet, and this is what it looks like when I'm talking. So what I'm going to do is play pink noise through one of the speakers, and then I am going to compare the pink noise chart, or this real-time analysis chart with the pink noise, with Dirac Live disabled versus enabled, and see if there is, in fact, a difference. Okay, yeah, I actually don't need the microphone for that. I can actually tell that there's a significant difference when I turn Dirac Live off. I can just hear it with my ears. Wow, that is crazy obvious. So now here's something else I want to make a point of here. I mentioned turning off Dirac Live to disable all room correction before I run the Magic Beans app. In addition to that, I also have gone in to the settings in the Onkyo receiver. I went to speaker, I selected speaker, and then I went over here to level calibration. And what I've done is I have set them all to 0. They were all at different levels because of what, oh, that's really loud. But you can see here, you can see I've now set them all to 0. It's really loud, sorry. And so I set them all to 0 so that there wouldn't be any variation in the speakers. They would all be like basically at the default setting. So I disabled Dirac Live. I also went into level calibration and set them all to 0. Now I am ready to run the Magic Beans app. All right, I got all of the RBH speakers installed. I ran the Magic Beans app from Joe and Tell, and then I ran Dirac Live room calibration, and then I exported the Magic Beans over to Dirac and imported them into the specific speakers, and then I exported the Dirac Live to the AVR, fired it up, and it sounds I wish there was a way. I wish there was a way through YouTube to share with you what I hear sitting here. I wish there was a way. This room is magical now. It is, I'm not overstating it. It sounds incredible. And I am just so happy with these RBH speakers. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They're incredible. I after I got it all set up, I was like, I called my wife in. I'm like, you got to come hear this. Okay. So I sat her down and I fired up The Greatest Showman, the opening scene from The Greatest Showman, because we're all familiar with that. And it's just so impactful and it's just huge, right? So played through the scene, played it all. And then I looked over and she was just, the look on her face, she was just like, wow. Wow. And then she made a comment, and I thought this was really interesting and good because this is what I was going for. She said, it sounds so big. And she was referring to the room, the sound in the room. And I asked for clarification because I thought that's what she meant, but I just wanted to make sure. And yes, indeed, that is what she meant. She meant that it doesn't sound like we're in a tiny room. It sounds like we're in a very, very large room. The sound is just coming from every direction, and it just sounds so big and so massive. And so to have her comment on that and to notice that, I was like, oh, awesome. I succeeded. I succeeded because that's what I was going for. I've mentioned that in previous videos that I wanted to create a home theater in a tiny space that didn't sound like it's in a tiny space. I wanted something that sounded huge, and I think I've done it. I think I've really done it. This is amazing. It is so cool. I still got some things in the works. I've got some new things coming in. In fact, actually, just today, I finalized a pretty big piece that is going to be arriving hopefully in the next few weeks, maybe sooner. We'll see. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited to share that with you guys. And in the meantime, thanks for watching.